Sahana vavatu sahana bhunaktu sahaviryam karavavahai tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrindam. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Bhagavad Gita Teacher Certification, the Pre-Examination Review. This is part 1 of 2. Gita Pancha Vishaya, the 5 topics of the Gita. 1. Ishvara, the Supreme Soul, Paramatma. 2. The Jiva, the conditioned soul, also known as Jivatma or Jiva Bhuta. 3. Kala, time. 4. Karma, or activities. 5. Prakriti, or nature, material nature. Kala, karma, prakriti, these 3 are kshetra, the field. They are material and temporary. Ishvara, jiva, are kshetragya, the knower of the field. They are spiritual and eternal. Then we have the Purusharthas, Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. Freedom from the Arishadvargas. So let's spend a little time here. So the Gita Pancha Vishaya, the 5 topics of the Bhagavad Gita, can be divided into 2 basic categories, Kshetra and Kshetragya. Kshetra is the field and it is material. It is temporary. So those topics that fall within Kshetra are Kala, time, karma, activities, Prakriti, material nature. Kshetragya is the knower of the field. These are 2 individuals, Ishvara, the Supreme Soul, and Jiva. Think of one's material, one's own body. The body itself, made up of material nature, engages in karma and exists in a span of time, has a beginning and an end in a span of time, kala. So the material body, the body that we inhabit, is kshetra, it's the field. We are the jiva, we are the soul that inhabits this body, so we are the knower of the field. But there is also a paramatma, a super soul, within the same material body that we are also inhabiting. So Ishvara is also therefore considered kshetragya. The 4 Purusharthas, Dharma, the foundations of a successful life, Artha, the means of achieving a successful life, Kama, the means of enjoying a successful life, Moksha, the goal of a successful life. Pardon me. Dharma, the foundations of a successful life. The verse in the Gita is chapter 3, text 35. Number 1, Siddharana Dharma, universal Dharma, applicable to all human beings. They are 1. Tapa, self-mastery. 2. Shaucha, purity. 3. Daya, compassion. 4. Satya, truthfulness. Then there is Svadharma, one's own nature, inclination, and proclivities. Svadharma holds in harmony and balance the following: our physical body, senses, our subtle body, mind, intelligence, and ego, and our soul, Swarup, Nityadasa. So let's explore this. Excuse me. Dharma, the foundations of a successful life. These are the foundational principles necessary to live a successful life in this world. How to understand this world, what are the relationships involved between ourselves, material nature, ourselves and Prakriti, ourselves and the Supreme, in so much as we understand or believe in such relationships uh, with the living beings around us, family, all of these principles of life, of living, basic principles for living a successful life are encapsulated in dharma. Dharma is oftentimes translated as religion. It's not incorrect, but it is a very, very limited translation for what dharma uh, is referring to in the context of the Purusharthas. So here in the Purusharthas, these particular types of dharma, Siddharana dharma and Swadharma, are key and are central. There are also many other types of dharma, which we talked about in previous classes. And all of these various different types of dharma can be categorized according to or into kshetra, material and temporary, or kshetragya, in other words, are spiritual and eternal. For example, Sanatan Dharma is relating to kshetragya, it is spiritual and eternal. Whereas uh, Svadharma, while very important, is pertaining to the body, mind, and senses. It is therefore kshetra, temporary and matter based. Important, real, but still temporary, and therefore categorized as a kshetra body of knowledge or dharma. Siddharana dharma means this universal dharma. It's applicable to all human beings at all times, from the beginning of creation to the end of creation. It doesn't matter one's religion, caste, creed, belief system. These four principles are universal. It is what defines a human being in the Vedic view, right? Self mastery, that we have self discipline, self control. We have agency to control our body and mind. Shaucha, purity. We keep ourselves externally clean, but also cleanliness of the heart, purity of the heart, in the sense that our motivations can also be purified. Our motivations can also be geared towards what's beneficial to all involved. In other words, the win-win principle, as Stephen Covey talked about 2 or 3 decades ago, or everyone's talked about it, but he put it in very, very concise, excuse me, and almost codified the idea of win-win. This idea of making sure our motivations are as benevolent as possible regarding ourselves and anyone else in the situation. This is purity of motive. Then there's Daya, basic compassion for ourselves and for all living creatures and for Mother Nature herself. Then there is Satya, or truthfulness. So these four principles are Siddharana Dharma, universal, applied to all human beings, no matter whether you believe in God or not. These are not religious principles, which is why translating the word dharma as religion doesn't do it justice. All right, these are principles, universal principles. Siddharana Dharma, whether you're atheist, theist, Christian, Muslim, Hindu, Buddhist, doesn't matter. Same principles apply to all human beings and differentiate us from the animal species. Then there is Swadharma, one's own nature, inclination, and proclivities. Swadharma holds in harmony the following three aspects of our being: our physical body, our senses, material senses, our subtle body, the mind, intelligence, and our identity, and our soul. Swarupa means eternal form. Our own form. Sva means one's own, and rupa means form. So, what is this particular aspect, this third aspect of the soul? How does that hold? What does Swadharma in relation to the soul? How does that work out? What is a quality of the soul that can be expressed in Swadharma? And that's where we come to the Nitya Dasa principle. The Nitya Dasa principle is the distinguishing characteristic between the Ishvara and Jiva. Jiva has Nitya Das principle, Ishvara does not. Now, this does not mean that Ishvara cannot have Nitya Dasa. Very, very important. Of course, Ishvara can have Nitya Dasa. Otherwise, the Supreme, if there's something the Supreme cannot do, then the Supreme is not Supreme. So the Supreme can have, can display, can manifest this Nitya Das principle, but it is not a distinguishing characteristic of Ishvara. Nitya Dasa is a distinguishing characteristic of all Jivatma. This Nitya Dasa characteristic means this Nitya means eternal, Dasa means servant. The Nitya Das principle is that all living entities are constantly looking up to, aspiring to, or pedestalizing a person, an idea, a belief system. We always look up to something. We always pedestalize something, an idea, an individual. It doesn't matter what it is. This idea of putting something above ourselves to which we aspire is the Nitya Dasa principle. So, in relation to Swadharma, what do we aspire to? Some people aspire to having a lot of money. Some people aspire to being like a particular individual, right? A role model. What is it to which we naturally or intrinsically aspire? This doesn't make it a spiritual aspiration. It's just that the quality to look up to something, that quality is the quality of the soul, to look up to something. It is perverted by a hunkar, it is perverted by all our conditioning, but it is still a quality of the soul to look up to something greater than ourselves. Understanding what it is that we're looking up to and bringing that in balance with our mind, intelligence, and ego and our senses, bringing all of those in harmony and in balance, then our Swadharma becomes revealed. Artha, the second Purushartha, the means of achieving a successful life or livelihood. The Bhagavad Gita verses, chapter 3, text 9. A career, a livelihood that, one, does not violate the four principles of sadhana dharma, two, is in harmony with one's swadharma, and three, can be offered as a yajna to Adi Yajna, or the Supreme, is called artha. Artha, in relation to the Purusharthas, is specifically revolving around livelihood, right? Remember, the Purusharthas are about how the four means for the human being to achieve their greatest potential. Artha, having a livelihood, being able to earn a living, is obviously essential. It is just important, however, that whatever livelihood or career that we choose in order to make a livelihood does not violate the four principles of sadhana dharma, is in harmony with our swadharma, or enables us to manifest and to exist in our swadharma. And finally, it can be offered as a yajna. What this means is the livelihood does not create karma, does not create reactions that obstruct our achievement of moksha. All right, so we have a livelihood, a career that facilitates, in fact, our journey towards moksha. A livelihood or career that is obstructive, that is disadvantageous to our journey towards our progress towards moksha, that is a livelihood that is not actually called artha. It may bring in millions of dollars for us, but it is not artha in the definition of in the sense, in the context of the Purusha arthas. The Purusha arthas, it's about having a livelihood that benefits, that is conducive to our journey towards moksha. We must have a livelihood. That is absolutely recognized and essential. It is acknowledged. We absolutely must have a livelihood. But the livelihood must be conducive to our and beneficial to our journey towards and our advancement towards moksha. Then it is called artha. Kama, the means of enjoying a successful life. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3, text 43. The kama uh, stage, or not stage, part of the four Purusharthas is very, very important, and it's a bit complex, but it's essential that we understand it because it is the motivating factor behind everything that we do. Number one, the Jivatma, the individual spirit soul, is Sat, Chit, and Ananda. Two, Ahankar, false ego, is both a misconception, I am the body, and a material element. Three, desire of the Jivatma is called Ichcha, to manifest and experience Ananda. Desire of the Jivatma plus Ahankar equals Kama, to experience Sukha via the body. To transform Kama back into Ichcha, Krishna recommends Buddhi Yoga. So let's break this down. The Jivatma, the individual spirit soul, that's you and I, we are made up of Sat, Chit, and Ananda. Sat means we are eternal. As spirit beings, we are eternal. Chit means we are always aware. We never die, lose consciousness. And Ananda, we are the very embodiment of bliss as a spirit being. So these three qualities are inherent in the Jivatma. It is the very substance, if you will, of which the soul is made, if we could use that terminology. I apologize for the coughing, just coming off a bit of a cold. So this is what the Jivatma is made of, if you will. Ahankar, false ego, is two things. It is both a misconception, it's an idea, it's a belief, a misconception, a false identity that I am this material body. We are not. We are Jivatma. We are spirit souls. We are not this body. So it's a misconception. It is also a material element, just like fire, water, air. These are material elements. Ahankar is also described in Sankhya philosophy as a material element. It is a necessary material element for the soul to exist in material body and in the material world. So for the spirit soul to exist and function in a material reality, ahankar is what allows that to happen. It is what enables the soul to exist, to function, and to manipulate matter. Is the ahankar. So it's actually a material element, as well as it being a misconception, an idea. Number three, desire of the Jivatma. So the Jivatma, the living entity, has Ichcha. We have a desire, we have will, we have intent. This is called Ichcha when the Jivatma, as a spirit living being, to manifest and to experience our Ananda, who we are. To experience, to manifest, to exist at our highest potential, and to experience Ananda, that is Ichcha. the natural inclination of the Jivatma. However, when the Jivatma is conditioned by a Hankar or develops this misconception that I am the body, then that Ichcha manifests as Kama. That same desire to experience Ananda becomes Kama, becomes a desire to experience happiness, which is Sukha, experience happiness via or through the material body. So what must be done is we have to transform Kama back into Ichcha. By doing that, by making that transformation of Kama back into Ichcha, we use the process of Bhakti Yoga. So it doesn't mean we do not experience satisfaction. Of course we do. In fact, the issue is we become able to manifest Ananda. But in order to do that, that's the practice, that is a process of Buddhi Yoga. So we're able to enjoy and experience life and existence not through Kama, but through Ichcha. And therefore, the experience of Ananda becomes possible. And finally, moksha, the goal of a successful life. Bhagavad Gita, verse 524 and 1866. Two types of moksha. Jivan Mukti, liberation in this body, which is freedom from the Arishadvargas. And Videha Mukti, liberation after death of the material body, or freedom from samsara. Jivan Mukti, liberation in this body. This is evidenced from freedom from the control of the Arishadvargas, which are Kam. Arishadvarga means the six enemies. Ari, enemy, Shad, six, Vargas, types. They're Kam, Krodh, Lobha, Moha, Mada, and Matsarya. Lust, anger, greeds, delusion, arrogance, and envy. So Jivan Mukti is to be in this world, going through life, going to work, raising children, yet being free from the control of the Arishadvargas. They do not control, they do not have sway, they do not dictate the choices we make or how we exist in this world. That is Jivan Mukti. Then there's Videha Mukti, liberation after death of the material body. This is when we've gone through life, we have a livelihood, right? And we've offered our livelihood as yajna, as a sacrifice, as an offering to Adi Yajna. So all of the results of our activities are, the karma from our activities are accepted and taken by Adi Yajna, the Supreme. So there are no karmic reactions for which we must endure. We become free from samsara and therefore can move on to the next stage of our existence outside of samsara. This is Videha Mukti. If we have not freed ourselves from the reactions of our activities, say for example, if our livelihood, if we're under the control of the Arishadvargas, if our livelihood is contrary to the principles of Dharma, we are unable to offer our livelihood as yajna to Adi Yajna, then there's karma that has been accumulated, which means we have to go back or into or stay in samsara, the wheel of life and death, the cycle of life and death, and take on various material bodies to burn up that karma until we are then able to, being free from karma, achieve Videha Mukti. Brahma Bhuta is Jivan Mukti. Brahma Nirvana is Videha Mukti. Param Dhamma is Videha Mukti. Bhakti, choose love. So, Brahma Bhuta means existing in the state of moksha when we are free from the Arishadvargas, right? This is Jivan Mukti. That stage is called Brahma Bhuta. We're not under the conditioned impulses of the Adishadvargas, the material nature. We have risen above their influences, are not controlled by them. We are Jivan Mukti. That stage is called Brahma Bhuta. At that point, we can choose whether to exist after the demise of our material body in Brahma Nirvana, where we merge into the Supreme. Example is given of a drop of water merges back into the ocean, Brahma Nirvana. Or the yogi can choose, again, this is actually a choice has to be made, to exist in relationship with the Supreme. So not losing one's identity by merging into the Supreme, but rather retaining one's individuality and have a relationship of love with the Supreme. And in that state, still Videha Mukti, but one then resides and exists in the space and the place where our Ishta Devata, for example, Krishna for myself, exists. So I exist in relation to my Ishta Devata, Krishna, Param Dhamma, the supreme abode. If I want to make that choice of Param Dhamma, of having a relationship with the Supreme, then the process for that is bhakti. I can only choose bhakti from the place of Brahma Bhuta. Or rather, bhakti can only be chosen from the place of Brahma Bhuta. Now, this does not mean that if I'm not on the Brahma Bhuta stage, I cannot begin the practices of Bhakti Yoga. Absolutely not. The practices of Bhakti Yoga will actually bring us to the Brahma Bhuta stage. So we can still practice the sadhana of Bhakti, right? Krishna recommends Buddhi Yoga. Buddhi Yoga and Bhakti Yoga are synonymous. There is no difference between the two. So the practice of Buddhi Yoga, the practice of Bhakti Yoga will bring us to the Brahma Bhuta stage. And then from that point, we can choose to continue in that way and exist in relationship with the Supreme. And by the way, many processes will bring us to the Brahma Bhuta stage. Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga, various philosophies will bring us to the Brahma Bhuta stage. Absolutely, unequivocally. Various religions will bring us to the Brahma Bhuta stage. Simply because it's called Brahma Bhuta does not mean this is exclusive to Vedic spirituality. No, Christians can come to the Brahma Bhuta stage. Muslims, Buddhists, anyone can come to the Brahma Bhuta stage. It is, in fact, who we actually are. The living entity is, by nature, the jiva soul is, when free from control of the Adishadvargas, Brahma Bhuta stage. So that's nothing exclusive to Vedic spirituality or bhakti to come to the Brahma Bhuta stage. What is unique to the Param Dhamma stage is that bhakti, the practice of unconditional love, is what will bring us to that stage, to that existence in Param Dhamma. That is a deliberate choice that has to be made. That is available to us. It is a choice that is available to us. We will end there, and part 2 is forthcoming. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare.